Is technology the answer to safer construction sites? And what drives someone to dedicate their entire career to safety? In this episode, we explore if AI and technology is just an enabler of safety, or if it can truly replace human judgment. NUS Professor Goh Yang Miang shares his personal experiences that shaped his journey and why culture is the biggest driver of safety, not tools. Yang Miang, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. It's a great pleasure to have you. It's an honor to have you join our podcast as we kind of do this, step our toe into the world of podcasting and start looking at kind of safety and how it's impacting industry and the people that are driving it. So again, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you. So the first time we met was actually the Lunar New Year celebration kind of lunch at Tiongxing. And we met, I gotta admit, the first time I was like, wow, okay, a professor sitting down, and it's like, where's the connection and why? And I was talking to a few others, they mentioned, oh no, I mean, he is the go-to person. All the businesses in Singapore kind of love to reach out. If you're going to talk about process or safety, they reach out to you. And I was like, wow, okay. So I was like, all right, we got to talk some more. It was kind of the thought process. But before we get into that piece, I'd love, where do you start saying, okay, I'm going to be a professor. I'm going to focus a little bit on safety. Where does that come from? Where did that journey start? The interest for safety?
It's a long story, so
I'll cut it short. So you can share.
I started off in outdoors, doing trekking, hiking. So that's where I was climbing a mountain in Malaysia. I was in outdoor activities club in NUS. So I was a young man who loves outdoor. And then one of this expedition where I was climbing the mountain alone, I met a group of kids from Malaysia, actually.
Yeah.
Scouts. Yeah. So at the top of the mountain, Mount Ophir, very popular spot for Singaporeans and Malaysians. So I met the group of students, and they were camping just below where I was.
Yeah.
I was just using a basha. A basha is essentially just a tent with no proper cover.
Yeah, a little shanty kind of cover.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. Anyway, so halfway through the night, a kid came running to my basha and saying that, hey, one of their friends were down because apparently he was struck by lightning.
Oh, wow.
It was raining, yeah. So we tried to evacuate him, and we tried all sorts of stuff. Anyway, the kid didn't manage to survive.
Oh,
yeah. So it's quite an experience. So I really,
to say the least.
Yeah. After that, it was something that I thought about a lot. That hey, what could have been done to prevent this accident?
Yeah.
Where a 13-year-old boy was struck by lightning, was killed. It wasn't a direct strike, but he was leaning against a tent and was dead.
Yeah.
And the tent was next to a metal ladder. Anyway, things like this got me interested in outdoor safety, and I took some courses on outdoor leadership and outdoor safety kind of stuff. And that's when I came to the end of my civil engineering training. As an engineer, I look at my training, but there's nothing much on safety. So construction is well known for accidents.
Yeah.
That was in the late 90s. So I thought, I should do a master's on safety as well.
Okay.
So I decided to do a master's on that, and somehow got upgraded to a PhD.
Somehow upgraded. So just willy-nilly to go, we'll give him the PhD.
Well, the supervisor was very keen to encourage me to do a PhD, and somehow I agreed.
Okay.
Anyway, during that period, that's when 2004, that's when Eco Highway collapse happened.
Okay.
20th April 2004. So I decided that, hey, this is a major accident. I was getting involved in some way, investigation.
Okay.
So I managed to get into the Ministry of Manpower in 2005.
Okay.
After my PhD, so I started in the Ministry of Manpower.
Okay.
That's where I think it started off in outdoors, and started thinking about construction safety.
It's a transition. Okay.
Yeah, and decided to do more research in this area. Okay. That's how I ended up with a PhD focusing on construction safety, and my first real job was MUI.
So all started with your passion, kind of hiking, being outdoors, and kind of an unfortunate incident of the lightning strike. And so that was back in university days, sounds like, right? If I did the math correctly. Okay. And it kind of lead in, and you have the Nickel Highway collapse kind of here in Singapore kind of led to that as well. Because you're right. You mentioned as you're going through kind of started a master's, got talked into being the PhD, that there wasn't much from an education standpoint and the safety of that. From my experience, coming from the U.S., right? Coming from the U.S., most of the people I know that do safety, even projects at sites, et cetera, it's, okay, you're an engineer, you've been doing the field, you've been an operator, okay, I'm going to promote you and throw you into safety, right? You've had the experience of trying to manage safety or be a part of a safety process. All right, I'm going to send you to a 2 or 3 day boot camp at OSHA, right? Occupational Safety Health Administration. But then I'm okay, great. You now own it. So good luck, go figure it out.
Yeah,
so it's more on the job training, and maybe if you're lucky, you got a mentor there, and somebody who's already a safety officer, a safety manager is going to coach you and train you. But maybe it's changed since I've been in the U.S., but there wasn't an education program. There wasn't a, hey, I'm going to go do a bachelor's course and kind of doing.
Yeah, it was pretty hard.
Yeah, so that sounds like it's a little bit different. I mean, I've talked to others here in Singapore, and the way they got started as a safety officer, they went to university for it. They did either a 2-year or 4-year program for it. And it always blew my mind as to what that really entailed. So when you're doing that master's now, Pete, so what were you looking at? What was it, research based? Was it additional education or?
It's very much research based.
Okay.
The good thing about research based education is that we look for the problem that we're passionate in.
Okay.
As long as a supervisor or advisor is agreeable. And then there's no holds bar in a way that you just do what you want to solve the problem in a way. Of course, I mean, it's still a PhD, it's not having a company or troop of people to solve a real problem. But I think the interesting part is that it's very problem focused.
Yeah.
So I was focused on risk assessment, about the lack of knowledge to support risk assessment. So coming in with some AI-based approaches. At that point of time, it was like in 2000 to 2005.
Yeah, so some 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, so it's not very advanced in terms of the techniques, but it's case retrieval about how to retrieve the most suitable case to support risk assessment. So that type of approach where you're not just put through many classes and studying the theories. So I did interact with many sites.
I was going to say, that had to be your kind of your entry into talking to different businesses and projects on the ground, right?
Which is very interesting. I think as a very young engineer, I get to visit many land transport authority sites, talk to many contractors. I was attached to an audit firm under Scale. I was very appreciative of the opportunity. I was attached to them, see how the auditors do their job. So all these experiences were very valuable. And also, I was also working with Ministry of Manpower, collecting excellent data from them. So it's very enriching. Now, so there's less constraints. People are more willing to share in the past. Now there are more concerns about data privacy and all that. So, I mean, of course, it's right to have all those concerns, but at the same time, there are more barriers now. So I really enjoyed my experience because I was doing research then. Very different experience compared to just coursework.
And so is that research experience kind of what kept you more going down the path of academia? Was it a case of, I don't want to put words in your mouth, was it a case more of I can impact more people. I can have a more of an approach and reach out to multiple different companies versus trying to go down the more traditional engineer route of, I'm going to be engineering a project. I go one by one, and maybe my influences at one specific project, then that company, and maybe I can get into the organization where I can share across different boundaries, but it's a slower process.
On the contrary, actually, after my PhD, I say that research is, that's enough. The experience is good enough. I'm going to the real world to do some stuff. So I say that I'm not going to be academia. I was pretty sure that in 2004, 2005. I just submitted my thesis and said, this is enough.
You're done.
I'm done with school. I'm done with research. So I actually joined Ministry of Manpower. So doing investigation, inspection, seen a lot. That was very enriching also because doing accident investigation, looking at dead bodies, looking at burnt plants, looking at cranes that collapsed, really big accidents. That gave me the grounding in terms of real world issues.
Okay.
But at some point, I decided to go back to academia by chance in a way.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, actually, I was looking for an online course because I was very busy.
Okay.
After about 3 years as MOM, I was thinking that, hey, I'm very much an engineer on the safety aspect. I want to do more on the health aspect, but I don't have the grounding. So I thought, hey, I should take perhaps an online course because I'm too busy to have all these in-person courses. I found Curtin University.
Okay.
Yeah, I was emailing the professor there, and he actually offered me a job.
Oh, wow. You're emailing, hey, do you have any of these courses? He's like, how about you come teach it?
Yeah. So they flew me over for an interview. I thought, that's a nice free ticket to Perth just to visit. At the end, I got the job, and
wow.
Yeah, and I thought about it just with my wife.
Yeah.
So our kids were still young, and if we don't travel now, and our intention is to, in the long run, we still intend to come back. So when they're younger, we're not in school, it's easier.
Yeah.
So he decided, okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you then teaching on safety, or did you start teaching on health? Because you said you were looking for health courses.
Yeah, I was teaching more on the safety aspect.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you didn't say, hey, you can teach occupational health, just go learn it before you come. It wasn't that. Okay.
You're more professional than that. So I couldn't teach on the health aspect. I was more on the safety aspect.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'll try to pick up some of the health aspect from my colleagues there.
So what is, my past experience has been, okay, I sit down in a boot camp, because that's what I've gone through with OSHA in the US and even the EPA environmental side of, okay, this boot camp, you're going through and you're learning the regs, you're learning the regulations and the laws and some of the key requirements, some of the practices and kind of how you can approach it. But really just, what does the law say? What's required? What's not required? So what is a safety course? What is actually a safety degree in that? What does that look like? What are you walking them through? Different laws? Are you talking through practices? How to do risk assessment? You do lessons learned based on past. You mentioned MOM was very eye opening as you get through those burns, the fires, the crane collapses. How do you structure a course and to kind of get prepared for what that means in the real world?
I think the courses that I was teaching, the whole program, I think it's pretty well structured. As a whole, risk assessment is definitely one of the core. I think the management system type of approach is very important. Of course, before you can get into the risk assessment, you need to have some domain knowledge. And that's where the different types of hazards, health issues, possible diseases, all this will come in. Right? So they have the management aspect, the management processes, risk assessment processes, and then you have the different types of hazards and health issues that need to be covered. So I think that is a common structure that many safety and healthcare programs will take. Yeah, I'm also using that for the handbook. Safety and health handbook.
So because you've had a number of years, almost a decade, 2 decades now, kind of training the next professionals and kind of seeing the impact of when things aren't quite done right. Or you mentioned even your PhD study of the risk assessment process. Can I use AI to get better learnings and get deeper dive, better risk assessments because there's gaps? As you look about kind of what the curriculums and everything that's been going through today, and as you do some of the outreach and the coordination with businesses, where do you see some of the biggest gaps where there's still too much gray area, not yet, they don't understand what the risk is or how to go address it or how to identify it, or they're still struggling to get the right control in place that's putting people at risk, whether it's lack of visibility to it, lack of information, lack of desire, whatever this case is. Where do you see some of the gaps? Without naming names, not trying to put anybody on blast, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But where do you see some of the potential gaps, or where you're trying to resolve in the education side, or there's still a gap either way?
I think the most fundamental part is still the culture aspect. So technology is an enabler. I think, of course, the new technology coming in, and we should always explore these new technologies. How can we use better technologies to help us? I think that is still secondary. First, the most important part that we need from leaders would be that passion and that sincerity. in terms of safety and health.
Okay.
That they really want the workers to go home safely, not in a very casual manner, saying that, safety is important.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that it's important. But the key test is when they're faced with a constraint.
What decision do they make?
Yeah, what decisions do you make? Yeah. Are you still going to say the same thing? Or are you going to say, it's hard, just forget about that?
You're going to roll the dice. It's probably okay. 50-50 chance. I'll take my odds.
Or they might say that, it's really important, but this is a crux that we're facing, and just for these 2 days, they're going to do it.
Make an exception.
Yeah, make an exception. So this, I think the top management aspect is something that's very lacking.
Yeah.
Many of them that climb to the top may not be well trained on safety concepts.
Yeah.
There are exceptions. I've met top leaders who are very serious about safety, and they talk about safety. It's like part and parcel of their life, which is very inspiring. But unfortunately, many managers and leaders do not have that grounding, and that's a very important aspect that is very hard to teach. But I believe that some concepts can still be transmitted through online courses, through coaching, interactions with educators who are trying to share something with them. Yeah.
I think you're spot on. So it's one of the where I fully agree with you. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the law is. I mean, it can drive people because you're going to put people in jail. You're going to find somebody. Okay, they're going to react, but they're only going to do what they have to try to avoid that fine or that penalty, that jail time. It may not drive and change the true ultimate behavior and culture, right? Or it may create more of a CYA, right? Look for a scapegoat because it's not me, it's you.
Right.
So what is getting somebody to own it, right? Where they really truly believe it. Like you said, it's a priority. I'm not going to put anyone in jeopardy. It doesn't matter what the risks are. If it means I lose money, it means we're delay. No, I'm not going to put that as a risk. We got to find another way.
Yes. Yeah.
That takes somebody that has a little bit of courage to do it.
Yes.
And if you don't have that as a leader, as you grow up through the ranks, if you're not seeing that ahead of you, and you're seeing people who cut that corner and they get ahead, you're going to have that future leaders be ones that will keep cutting corners because that's what they learned. That's what they saw. That's what they saw as being incentivized. How do you close that gap? You said you've seen some that, hey, they fully get it and they own it and they want to make sure it's the right decision. Others that aren't there. So what does close that gap, whether it's from an education standpoint, a policy standpoint? What's the approach? What's the missing piece of that puzzle? They have to live through it. They didn't live through it. They have to personally have to open the door and tell a loved one, I'm sorry, but your husband, your wife, your brother, your daughter, your son, they died because we didn't do the right thing. Is that, unfortunately, somebody have to live it to make that change? Or is there some other way to get there?
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult question. Nobody has a silver bullet. I think there are three aspects I can look at.
Please.
The first aspect is the rational mind. These are smart people, right, who manage to climb up at a certain level. So we need to show them the cost and benefits.
Okay.
Right. That is the most basic part. The law is useful, right? Show them, hey, there's a proof code of practice, as if you're not doing all this. If something happens, you might be going in there to the jail. So all this are tackling the rational mind, which is important, really important to set certain minimum standards across all these people. But that is not optimal. We all know that, but it is important to have that. And the other aspect is the environment that we create. We start to build communities to show people that, hey, see, that guy is doing well as a company, and the boss is so serious about safety.
Yeah.
So positive examples are extremely important. And also getting them to understand in a way, looking at from the client's point of view, let's say the supply chain, and that kind of communities, a different type of communities. Supply chain is dollars and cents. So the environment needs to be conducive. It's not just about telling them the law, but seeing actual practices by actual organizations, from clients, from their competitors, from the suppliers, and building that kind of community is important, the environment. But the most important part is still the emotional, affective part of things. How to connect with these top leaders to show them the importance. I think that's where universities play a very important role. All educational institutions play a very important role to show, train our leaders
Yeah.
at a very young age that it's not just about success in the terms of just bringing money or having a project completed or whatever, but it's about the human aspect. Right? I think that is something that is very important to see the connection with the ground. We need to train, educate people to think about the frontline workers
Yeah.
who can empathize the difficulties that they face, challenges that they face, and put themselves in their shoes. I think that ability we need to train them from young,
Yeah.
right? To see that connection, the ability to connect with people on the ground and feel for them. So that at some stage when they are at a certain level, they still remember those lessons.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the safety and health training in universities are important, educational institutions are really important. That's the best time to train them before they enter.
100%. Yeah.
So that connection where we feel that, hey, that's really something important, and we always remember some of the accidents that have happened or the outcomes in terms of the impact on the family and the good things that can happen if they maintain good safety and health, not just on the negative side of things, but also the positive side.
Yeah.
So the morale will be better, the impact on the reputation of the company. So all this need to be built into these young people's mind.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And what some of the it reminds me of some of the stories, the kind of experiences that I had growing up, and changing over the past few decades. But I remember, so one of my first experiences of kind of right or wrong safety, and I failed the test. I know I did. So I'm a brand new engineer, right? I'm a brand new project engineer. I'm managing kind of expansion projects for an asphalt company. And I'm 22, just graduated. I'm given this project. I'm running it, did the estimate. Now I have to do the execution side of it, right? So I'm traveling. I'm going to the good old boy area of Oklahoma in the U.S. and we're doing this installation. And we're just installing a brand new storage tank for asphalt. It's a good 10, 15 meters tall. But when I first walked down, there's icy snow area because it's winter. We're still doing the construction. I walk down, I look up, and I see this extension ladder that's going a good.
So what is it? So what is
10
it?
meters tall? Actually, no, almost 18 meters tall. Just to a platform that they've hooked in so they can do some more welding on top. So there's a platform, there's a railing, but all there is for another 10 meters is just this extension ladder that's tied up by a rope and kind of dangles a little bit. And you got the good old boys who are older than me. They're all 10 to 20 years older than I am, plus. So they've been doing this forever. They're climbing up like that doesn't.
So what is it?
I'm new. That doesn't quite seem right. That doesn't quite seem safe. No, it's fine. We do this all the time. It's good. And so I've got the plant manager and I've got the construction leader and manager, and the people are like, we're fine. You're good. Don't worry about it. Like, I failed the test. I didn't stop it. I had the power to, theoretically, right? But I'm the brand new engineer coming in. It's like the first 6 months of the job. Like, me now, no way it would continue, right? But that's because later I had other leaders go, what the hell you think? No, you can't let that happen. And you got to stop it. You have the power to stop it. You should stop it. Then I see the incentives. I see the rewards for doing the right thing. But I was too afraid that first. I was like, well, maybe they know what they're talking about. They've been doing it for 20 years. I haven't. That's hard for a new person coming in. Even with the education coming in, that culture, that fear of, do I really know what I'm talking about? Do I not?
Fully understand.
So I think that there is that. I think there's still that big gap of, even if you do the training, and that's key. It's the people in the organization.
Yes.
And you kind of have to root out those people early on. Otherwise, they're just going to keep giving the bad habits to the new people you're bringing.
Yeah, that's a power culture.
Yeah.
There was this very famous experiment. It's on YouTube where it's a social experiment type thing where you have a room full of patients. You're waiting to see the doctor.
Yeah.
There's this guy who's being pranked in a way. So he walks into this room, and there's this timer that every couple of minutes, everyone would just stand up. And there's a bit, everyone would just stand up, and then they just sit down. The guy was wondering what's happening. Why is everyone just standing up when there's a bit?
Yeah.
Right? But he asked around and nobody answered him. Just after some time, he just stood up.
Just starts following along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is this: after all the actors have left,
Yeah.
and all the patients are real patients, all of them did the same thing.
No kidding. So it's
Yes.
just got the
They
living
just
is off
passed
the
on.
cliff.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the power of culture. They just passed on the behavior. So that's the power of culture. Yeah. So every time there's a new patient coming in, if the mindset is different, they're trained to ask questions, they know some of the fundamentals, it's possible to make a difference.
Yeah.
Even better, someone at the counter tells them not to do it.
Yeah.
And that's even more.
Then they stop, right?
Yeah.
Someone's authority.
Yeah. But
I hadn't heard of that study.
That's
Okay.
the power of culture.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, that also reminds me of another study that was done. Maybe I'm making this up, and it was more of a practical joke, but I'm pretty sure it was a study where they basically had this, not even actor, a random person comes in. They're given this device that's supposed to do mild shock to somebody else. They can't see the other person. All they hear is on the voice, right? You have the doctor over their shoulder, the quote expert, the authority figure saying, no, this is a study. We're studying kind of the effects of shock therapy and everything on other people. They sign up for it. They're okay with it. You even hear the person say, yeah, no, I'm good. Do it. And so no matter what happens, you're supposed to continue, right? And so they do the shock. You hear it, and they kind of go a little bit, they turn it up. Doctor tells, all right, next stage, turn it up a little bit higher, and you start hearing the pain. And then they're not actually getting shocked. It's the person in the other room who just is acting and screaming, and then gets to the point where they're screaming, no, stop, begging, don't do it, stop. And the person's just like, no, the doctor said I should do it. They said it's part of the plan. It's part of the plan. It's supposed to happen. This is a study. Everybody said yes to it. I'm looking, the doctor says do it. And they just keep doing it. And the study is actually, as you hear the impact and people telling you to stop, but you have the authority telling you to continue to do it, you become that, and following that beep in the waiting room. You just keep doing it because you're told to do it.
Yeah, that was a very famous experiment. It's test as obedience.
Yeah.
So most of us will just follow.
Yeah.
That's something very
I would love to think I wouldn't, but now I think the two studies show that the majority of people they pick up on the surroundings. We're a culture where people love we want to be in a culture. We want to be in a community. So we kind of want to follow along.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's
you're
the
going to
power
follow
of
the power of the norms. You're going to follow that culture, that advice, that mentor, that leader, whoever has authority. You're going to tend to follow that.
Yes. Actually, I did a very small study locally in Singapore. It's more of a questionnaire type in terms of whether a worker will hook up. What would encourage them to hook up?
Okay.
So there are three main factors. One is the ability to do it, the training, whether they have the right resources. The second one is the attitude about safety, whether safety is important to them or not. And the third one is expectations from others, or in a way, check out the norm.
Yeah.
And the most important factor is still the norm.
It is.
Yeah, the perception of the norm.
Yeah.
So that's many a times proven in different studies. Yeah.
It's like everybody wants to be part of the cool kids. Everybody wants to be part of the cool group.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be kind of what everybody else is doing, and doesn't want to kind of stick out. Doesn't want to be the oddball, right? Good or bad.
Yeah.
And they kind of get swept in.
Yeah. In terms of safety and health, is that's where the ability to pick up something, to be the holy fool.
Yeah.
Say, oh, the emperor is not wearing clothes, right? That type of thing.
Yeah.
Courage to do that. So important.
It is. So is that where you think? So what is it? Tools? I mean, so different. Whether it's software, whether it's devices, IoTs, the alarms, the AI. I mean, is that where tools in the industry can then kind of help point that out? Is that where maybe it can help bridge the gap?
Yeah, I think the tools are enablers.
Okay.
They are very important because many times we can't pick up weak signals, right?
Yeah.
There are signals we are not very sure. So if we put, and that unsureness where we are not sure about ourselves, sometimes it's because of cultural issues. So it's something like with different technologies using AI, IoT, or some advanced tools, which is more objective.
Yeah.
To pick things up and highlight it.
Yeah.
So that the signal is very clear.
So what is it?
And to ignore it is more difficult. People can't just say, no, it's not going to happen. It's more difficult, but it can still happen.
It still can happen. Yeah.
I mean, in Nicole Highway collapse, actually the instrumentation reading and all that is showing that things are not going well. That the wall is going to collapse soon. But the engineers just massage numbers and show that it's all right. Yeah. So that's why culture is still more important. But if there are instrumentation to show, it's harder to ignore it.
Yeah.
But culture is
because you can't fudge it, right? It's kind of automatic. It's one of the things almost from a culture and a country within Singapore that I love too is everything is kind of it's not everything's online, but you've got a structured process to it. So even from as Singapore fights and prevents corruption as you have in other countries around the world, they go, no, there's no possible corruption. There's no human interface. It's just an individual process. I can get it done. It's black and white, it's straightforward. Nobody can really intervene. The data is the data. The truth is the truth. It's facts.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you can have somebody now, my job's in line, or I just need to get this done because I'm waiting, I'm behind schedule. So let's just push it forward. Let's ignore it now. Let's take the risk. As soon as you have that interference that can kind of change the formula, can change the output, then you're right. You got people that can start kind of fudging it. Well, if it's black and white, it's black and white, right? You can't hide behind it. So I like that.
Yeah. But technology is not foolproof in the sense that, for example, geotechnical issues shows that it's out. Is it really out or not? Right. So that's where some engineering judgment is still needed. Even computer vision, right? There's so many false alarms, false positives.
Yeah.
So the technology is not perfect, not just in the sense of interpretation, but the technology they're using, many of them aren't error rate is still really high also.
No, which is a good point, right? So I think even if we start talking about even AI now and the rest of the industry, I think you're right. There's always AI is never going to be perfect. I think we're seeing that even simple things like not simple, but ChatGPT, like large language models, the hallucinations, the falsehoods that false answers it provides, it's getting better and better of making it sound believable, even if it's false.
Yeah.
And I think the overall percentage of accuracy, maybe it's reduced, but I think studies I've seen or the papers I've read, it's more of, okay, the accuracy is probably still the same. It's still in that 85, 95% accuracy. It's just, what does the false statement sound more and more believable? The hallucinations get better. They're not as obvious anymore. And I think that's probably the most challenging thing as we use AI a little bit. I think there's some great opportunities. You're right. Like the computer vision kind of modeling, right? Being able to detect safety issues, not wearing PPE, et cetera. Well, there will always be that human element that you need to interact with.
Yeah.
Somebody still has to make a final judgment call. And to your point, then you got to make sure it's the right person that has the right incentives to make that right judgment call, not to ignore the data. And it can actually has the education, it has the right kind of, okay, is this really an issue? Is it not?
Yeah.
Right. Do I need to start sounding the alarm bell or not? Do I ignore it? Say, okay, let's send it back to the model. They need to tweak it. The model needs to learn some more, needs to improve. It's a false flag. We can ignore it. All right.
Yeah.
What's your take on I think there's a flip side of AI as well, right? And even any tool, even if it's not AI, just safety tools in general, right? So as those tools help you understand the risk, right? Make it a little more transparent, helps you identify potential behaviors that could be riskier, lead to an accident. So what is it? So what is the system doesn't? So is there the risk that as you're going through it, that they become so reliant on the system that the AI says, hey, this is what to watch out for. Okay, this one's okay. You're over here. That they become numb to a little bit of the gut feel that the industry has used time and time again over the years. A lot of the safety professionals, let's go, yeah, I got my processes. I'm looking at my data. I can just be on the site and I can feel something's not quite right. Culture's not quite right. There's something brewing that's wrong. The ones who have a lot of experience are good that they kind of use their gut and they use the science. Do you see that there's a flip side of the technology that potentially doesn't say it, then people ignore it and they won't?
Yeah. I think it's always a residual risk of using technology for safety and health. There's the natural tendency to over-rely on technology.
Yeah.
And if you come to a stage where you don't use it, you can't perform your job, right? Because you're so reliant on it, because you're expected to finish this amount of work.
Yeah.
Right. And with AI, before AI, you're expected to complete this amount. With AI, you're expected to do this.
2 to 10 times more.
Yeah. So with that, there's no time to really validate some of the outcomes, outputs from the AI, and that could be a big danger.
Yeah.
So that's where when we use AI, there must be this calibration, testing, and validation built into the workflow. That at some point, as part of the procedure, they must test it again. Can't assume that, oh, it's going to work forever. In one of our studies,
Never static.
we actually found that there's always this structural change in the data. So you cannot assume that the data used to develop a model is going to be usable forever.
Yeah.
At different stages of a project, the data characteristic will change.
Yeah.
Right? The distribution will change, and you might be expected to improve the model and adapt it to the condition. But to do that is a bit, is pretty resource intensive. And when people adopt AI, they're thinking, oh, this is going to cut down
Plug and
work.
play.
Plug and play. I'm not going to do anything anymore on this for the next 10
Everything's
years.
is ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
Everything's AI is ChatGPT.
So some kind of monitoring, tracking, calibration is important.
Yeah.
You must build that into the workflow that we have.
No, I think you're absolutely right. So we're seeing that even now today. So one of the things that the Novade's doing that we've done. So early beginning of the year, 2024, it's the industry and world's first. We actually got, as far as I know, I've never seen anybody else do it yet. A predictive risk scoring model from a safety perspective, where actually we can take a look at the probability across different sites using all your safety processes, can understand culture and behavior. Which site this month is going to have an accident? The model is pretty simple, just yes, no. Based on what you're seeing, based on past performance of your behavior, culture, how fast do you close items, the overtime, your permit to work rejection rate, approval time, all of that information that kind of speaks to your culture, behavior, and you kind of see changes in that behavior right before an accident, after an accident, et cetera. Right? All kind of give that prediction. So it's an 80+% accuracy and precision, right? But what we're seeing is, because it's been live and it's been deployed, we also see, you're right. So as people use that model, they go, okay, great. Now I know what I have a problem with. Hey, the model's screaming there's about to be an accident because all my observations, I used to get all these observations, 15 per person, kind of on average. It dropped down to 2. I'm making things up, the extreme examples, right? Of, okay, it means nobody's raising issues. Nobody's looking for risk. Nobody's communicating. So the whole vision and the whole risk assessment is just kind of gone flatline, right? So nobody's really looking out for everybody else. They're trying to put their head down and move. And so then, okay, you go, do more observations, et cetera. So as you continue to use that model, it's great, but then it still helps you identify risk. But I think you're right. What we're starting to learn is your behavior changes, because the model's telling you, hey, this is a problem. Go work here. Go fix this. And you start fixing it. And then the behavior changes. The culture changes on site. So the baseline that you had before from a year or two ago, where, hey, if I approved a permit to work this fast, if I had this many rejected permits to work, I responded to my actions in a day, this percentage of overtime, that baseline of when you didn't have an accident versus when you did is going to be much different now, 2 years later, than what it was when you first trained and built the model. So there is a dynamic aspect. You're absolutely right, where every month, as you change and as you improve your culture, which is what you want, right? You're going to improve your culture. The baseline changes. The type of behavior, that culture you have today that equates good practices or no potential risk versus a potential risk in an accident, it's going to be much different than it was a year or two ago.
Yes.
And it will continue to change as you go. So you're right, that model can never be static. As much as everybody wants something to be plug and play and easy, and I can just sign up and bam, it's there. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
It changes. And I think that's one of probably the pieces of AI that I don't know that many people catch on to or think about.
Yeah.
Is that something that as you're going through kind of some of your curriculum, or as you're going through kind of some of the, I think, Elsevier, some of the publications you're working through and others, is that part of the process that you're trying to educate people on so that they don't fall in this false sense of security? Or is it not something that
Well, in one of our recent papers, we did highlight this risk, that there's this danger that the models that are developed are not applicable. So that's part of our findings and recommendations. And I think is something that we alert people to, in the sense that, for example, in some of my presentations and seminars, one of the things that I always talk about is that AI is not foolproof.
No.
And you have to be aware of how the AI is performing.
Yeah.
I was at a site quite recently. So the site was showing me that they have this system in place where they can detect using CCTV, they can detect different types of hazards, etc. And they show some performance metrics of the model. And I look at it, the performance matrix doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be a count of false positive, false negative. So a count doesn't have decimal points. But it's showing me 170.12345 or whatever. So what does it mean? So people are using technology, they're just assuming that it's taking care of itself.
Yeah.
But if you pay attention to the numbers, to the reports, some of them do not make sense.
There needs to be some common sense, and say common sense isn't so common.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some initial analysis about the numbers you're getting. Right? You're 100% right. Wow. Okay. So where do you, I guess, out of curiosity, I mean, where do you see some of the most beneficial applications of I mean, AI is the buzzword, and I don't want the full podcast to focus on AI, but I think as we're in it, where do you see some of the most beneficial? I mean, do you see, hey, there's going to be come time in the very near future where we're going to have all these automated machines and AI is going to tell it where to go and construct this, robots on the site, no human intervention? So what is it more, AI is more about maybe trying to make efficiencies in the process, help with data collection, help with analysis, but it's not going to be doing the job itself. Or a mixture, maybe.
I think definitely is a mixture. But the most immediate, I think the quick wins will be the use of data.
Okay.
Right? So, because data is abundant nowadays. Right? You have like your system, there are other platforms, all these digital platforms that's collecting plenty of data. I think that's where people need to be wise in the use of data. It's very important. They make full use of it so that the decisions are data-driven. I think that's a very good starting point. It is on the lower end of AI, right? You can be using some machine learning models to build a predictive model, looking at the clusters, unsupervised learning, what are the types of incidents that cluster together, the common causes, the common characteristics of those incidents. So I think that data-driven approach is very important. That's a very good starting point. So it's supplementary to all the existing management processes that we have.
Yeah.
Of course, the other end of the spectrum would be robotics, right? So you have robots that are fully automated. They can perform the work. They eliminate the risk in the sense that you don't even need the worker to be there, and the workers are trained to manage robots rather than doing the hazardous work themselves. I think both of these spectrums are really important. The data one will be immediately we can start doing something once you have a digital platform.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, low-hanging fruit. We must be doing that. Data-driven type of measuring processes. That's 110% sure that we must do that.
Yeah.
Robotics is still at a situation where people are still trying it out. I think there are organizations, developers, government developers that are pushing it very wholeheartedly at the moment. But of course, there are a lot of constraints. It's more experimental at the moment. But we have to try all these different tools and learn from it and share the lessons learned. I think with looking at the mega trends, not just in Singapore, manpower issues is a major problem anywhere. For construction, for many of the heavy industry. You look at many of these issues that we're facing, we have to adopt AI.
You have to,
We have to, at some point. And we just can't run away from it. It's like someone have pushed the domino, is just moving that direction. Everything's moving in that direction.
I think you're right. So our CEO, Denis, kind of makes this joke, not even a joke, just says it across the board in our company, goes, hey, you know what? AI is not going to replace your job. As you look at kind of the whole, it's not going to replace your job, but people who can use AI better than you are probably going to replace your job. Because they're going to be more efficient. They're going to be more effective. They're going to be, they'll get more productive. They get more stuff done faster, right? So they're more bankable, right, from a resource. Right? I think, but to your point, of the low-hanging fruit, the data piece, and leveraging that for AI. So it brings to mind, and you think about even the automation that you talked about. There's two examples recently as I talked to kind of clients and even some prospects. So there's
one that we talked to that's still paper driven, still not doing anything digital. Still boggles my mind. Maybe they use Excel, PDF. That's not really digital, right? They go, okay, but to your point, the AI driven. So then the comparison is because they're looking at a system that really all it does is just creates a glorified PDF. So all they're doing is kind of taking, well, I have everything in paper and I'm in a folder on site to where it's just a bunch of PDF documents that are saved on a SharePoint site type of thing. So reviewing that, so they can track number of forms submitted and past due, but that's really about it. Then other systems that can actually get all of the data to you, so they can leverage AI. So you're right, there's still that gap of, okay, what does it really mean to go digital? Oh, if it's digital, it means AI can take it, so fine, I don't need to worry about it. It's like, it's not quite the same. So there's still a learning in the industry across globally that we find.
Yeah.
And then I had this call last week with somebody who reached out and they go, it's in Saudi Arabia, I'm not going to name names. They go, no, it's our vision is for this project, we're already behind schedule, it's supposed to get done in a couple of years. And the Crown Prince, the government that says, nope, it's 57 degrees Celsius outside right now. I can't put people out there because it puts people at risk. I can't operate there. I want robotic machinery. I want autonomous AI driven machinery. And we're going to make it happen because we have to, because it's impossible to put humans in that environment for too long. So no, we're going to do it now. Yeah, no, it's not ready, but we're going to do it now. And we're willing to put the money in. So like, you get two extremes in the same day, talking about a person who's still paper. The other says, no, technology doesn't quite exist yet. It's still kind of testing. You haven't really seen an autonomous robotic machine that can do what's necessary. But no, that's where we're going to go. I'm going to be able to program it, have the construction management software system say, hey, this is the activity you're supposed to do today. It tells the machine where to go, shows where to excavate, where to go pour, come back, records everything. It doesn't exist yet, right? So there's all theory still, but that's what that's the vision. That's where we're going to go. Yeah, we'll throw money at it, right? And I'm like, I thought that was a good 5 to 15 years off. Now we'll see if they can actually do it in a couple of years. I was like, wow, that's the two extremes we're still dealing with kind of industry today.
Yeah.
Globally. Like, how do you close that gap? How do you get the extremes aren't good, right? Not everybody's at the extremes, but I got to find somewhere in the middle. It's like there's still so much more movement on those extremes to get people where they're leveraging.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling. How do you get them a little bit more close?
I think there's a very difficult question. Again, there's no silver bullet for that.
I wish there was. Tell me if you find it, because that makes my job easier.
No, I think, again, it comes back to the three things, right? Telling them about the rational part of things, right? Building the environment that encourage that. And thirdly, we'll be connecting to something that they're passionate about. I think it still always come back to these three things.
Okay.
Right. So at the end, if they want people to adopt technology, you must tell them what's the cost and benefit. And why is it essential to do this? And then you build certain environment, you show them the best practices, you encourage them to follow some of the good practices, the best practices, encourage them to be part of the community. And then, of course, there's the part that they feel that, hey, this is going to improve life. Right? How's it beneficial from a human aspect? So that's the connection that's important again. So at the end, these are three broad principles I always use. And I think it's very useful in any change. Right? And I actually got it from a book. I can't remember the name. I think Switch, if I'm not wrong. Right? Heath and Heath.
Okay.
So it's not the original work in the sense that it's actually based on a wide range of studies by different people and put it together in a framework. And you talk about it the rational part is like the rider on an elephant.
Yeah.
The path,
I know that one. Yeah.
You know that one? Okay, then there's the path that the elephant treads on.
Yep.
There's the environment. And the elephant is the emotional, affective part of us. Yeah. So I think it's still the same three aspects.
Okay.
Which is a very powerful framework for us to use in all these complex issues.
So with those complex issues, I mean, there's different stakeholders, different players that's in the mix, right? So you've got the companies, you've got the individuals, you've got governments, right? Across the board. So what's the role of the government in this case, right? So as we're talking about efficiencies and safety, as we're talking about trying to get the right culture, So what levers do you think governments around the world, not specifically in Singapore, we're not trying to badmouth one government the other, but that's not the intent, right? But so what is the right role? What's the right levers that they can really pull that helps incentivize that culture? Is it just the stick, right? Is it just the fines, the penalties, the jail time? Or is there something else that actually gets people going to the right path, to the best path?
Yeah, I think there are three basic roles, I think. The policeman, right, which is important, but if you do that too much, you get police and thieves.
Exactly.
You play the police too much, you get plenty of thieves now.
Yeah.
And then you have as the client, right, because the government is a very big developer, right? Singapore land transport, housing and development board, etc. And that's where through contracts, through their requirements, through the supply chain, make a big difference.
So they kind of put their money where their mouth is, right? So you may have to buy, if you want to specify the right culture, the technologies, etc. They have to be willing to pay for it.
Yeah. And not to badmouth anyone, but in Singapore, actually, we have pretty good examples.
Actually, you really are. Yeah, you're sure.
So it's good to highlight it.
It is.
In a sense, and I can see Land Transport Authority doing a lot of safety-related type of activities. They're giving incentives, they make certain requirements for use of technology, etc. There's plenty of examples locally. And of course, they are also acting as a leader in a way, setting good examples through the way, for example, in Singapore, the Prime Minister actually set targets on safety and health. Right, that was Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. I'm hoping the new Prime Minister should do something about it. So if the Prime Minister is listening, hopefully. Anyway, I've not heard of a country where the Prime Minister, the top
100%,
setting a goal for the nation in terms of workplace safety now. So I thought that's good leadership.
It is.
From all the way from
the top, top down.
So these three areas, I think locally I can find plenty of good examples. The enforcement is there, through as a client, setting good examples. Not perfect. If I want me to list some bad examples, I can, but perhaps not now. And then even at the top, setting good examples through all these policies, and aims, and targets. Which, good examples to show everyone.
Okay. So now I want to go back a little bit. So I know you talked a little bit about kind of reaching out, working with some of the different businesses around Singapore. And I know the first comment I made to you is, I'm being told, hey, if anybody's got a safety process or practice they want to work with, they kind of reach out to you. Can you give me, without breaking confidentiality, share names? I mean, what are some of the projects or processes or challenges that are exciting you that people are kind of bringing to you? Say, hey, can you help me with this? I got this challenge. I got this problem. Can we work together? Is this makes sense? Does it work? Does it not? There's something that you're working on now that you can share that kind of really excites you, or kind of is a challenge that, hey, this is worth spend some time on. Maybe we can get some new novel ideas of how to fix it.
Well, firstly, I'm not the real go-to person, maybe to some small clusters of people and organizations, but definitely not like the whole Singapore or anything like that. Absolutely not. So I'm just one of the persons around who's really interested in safety and health. But recent years, I think the use of AI, using machine learning to analyze data, that is one aspect. Definitely that is something really useful. I think we have plenty of data and we should be thinking of how to use the data better. How do we share data across? I think that's one aspect that I've been working on. Another aspect that I was working on is on design for safety. I think the idea has been around for quite some time, where designers are expected, together with the clients, are expected to think about the safety aspect upstream. I think many contractors, frontline operators, they face difficulties because the work environment is already fixed for them, right? The machines is designed such, the structure is designed in such a way that it's very hard to construct, etc. Right? So that's where, if the thinking process about safety is upstream, right? That concept is very important, so that you start considering how to make it easier for people to construct, to use the machine downstream. I think that is something that is really important. that an organization I'm working with, they are trying to build a framework, a management framework that can facilitate that process better.
Okay.
In Singapore, in 2006, during that period, like a new act came in, we have a risk assessment, which is something new in Singapore. Organizations are expected to do risk assessment. But the problem with such processes is that many times it became just paper exercise.
Yeah, it's just boilerplate, copy paste. The consultants come in. Here's the
precisely.
Yeah, here's the risk you do for this. There you
just
go.
Change the title of the project and just get it done. So I think having a proper framework is important, but at the end, to get the designers, architects, engineers to be serious about safety downstream is very challenging.
Yeah.
And I think again, we come back to culture.
Yeah.
But instead of culture of managers that are managing the frontline workers, we're now thinking about culture among designers and developers who are remotely related to the workers. How do we get these people to be serious about design for safety?
Yeah.
That's another challenge on its own.
So does that go back to certification, go back to training and education? So before they even get in the workforce, it's needs to be part of the university courses and curriculum, or is it changes to is it business practices or business requirements, certifications, ISO, whatever, where hey, you have to prove that you're actually doing it as part of it? I mean, where does that change? So what does it start?
The ideal case is again from the training, university, institution of higher learning. I think that is ideal, but our designers are expected to learn so many things.
Yeah.
So when you talk to the head of department for architecture or civil engineering, they'll say that I have no more space for another course on safety and health, on design for safety.
So what do I drop? Yeah. What do I drop? Right now I have to do it in 5 years, 6 years versus.
Yeah. Do I drop a course of structural engineering?
Yeah.
It's impossible, right? Yeah. So that is a very real challenge.
Yeah.
But we have to rethink how we train people. We cannot say that, oh, we have a topic on design for safety, I need a course on design for safety. It's how we slip in some of these concepts.
You're right. Doesn't have to be dedicated.
In their core courses.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a bite-sized training along the way. It's part of the considerations. It's all right. Right. So the key thing is that you need to send a message very clearly through different approaches, and bear in mind all these constraints and their reasonable constraints. Right. You cannot just drop all those things. So that innovativeness in training and education is very important.
Yeah.
You cannot just keep thinking about the usual training. Yeah. And even on the job training, what's the best way to train our professionals, our workers, our supervisors, on all these concepts on safety?
Yeah.
How do we do it in a smart way that's cost, time efficient, that's effective? So all these are important research questions that as a community we should explore and to do it well.
Well, I often joke, or I did when I first came out of university. So I chemical engineer by degree, and I went into a company where I did more civil mechanical stuff than I did chemical. But I often joke that when I showed up day one, it's like on the job training was critical. I was like, did I even go to I'm a project engineer, but some of the stuff I'm doing it wasn't even so technical in my degree aspect. It was just busy work and everything else. And it was the training I got on the job that was almost more powerful than the university degree that I got. And so I think you're right. So if I didn't have that, I would have gotten nowhere. And even though I had all the degree and the 4 years, I passed all the curriculum courses, it always felt like I was ill-equipped or ill-prepared, ready for the job. And I had to start from scratch. Because they're telling me all the stuff that wasn't either shared before. I didn't make the connection, but all the job training was critical. I didn't have that. I would have struggled immensely. And I think about others who just get thrown into it, and that's why they struggle. And I had some really, really good mentors, even though I failed my very first test on safety and that ladder that was dangling from that. Otherwise, I had some really good mentors that actually helped coach me and guide me through it and walk me through it and hold my hand. And if it wasn't for those kind of formative years in the first few years coming out of university, it would have been different person. How I approached the rest of my career would be much, much different there as well. So I always look, I got very lucky, very blessed with the mentors that I had when I brought out of university. And not everybody has that. And it makes it challenging to get to the right right decision, or it puts you kind of further back of kind of in that progression of where you need to be as you go, culture otherwise.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, okay. So then as we keep thinking through some of the levers and impacts and kind of safety culture, and I've heard, you started with your kind of said what started really your big passion was kind of unfortunately that lightning strike, that death that you experienced back in university days. So if you think through your career, think through the stuff you've gone through so far. So what is it? Passion, that fire still there? Is that still what drives your passion, or what drives your passion and fire has changed? Has it changed over time?
I think it has changed in the sense that in the earlier days, it's more like a young man with great energy, trying to do a lot of things, and just bulldozing through, trying to get things done the way that I think is correct.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I see that safety and health is a symptom of poor management, essentially. So instead of trying to just tackle safety directly, a lot of times we should be thinking about how do you deal with the management aspect? How do you train better managers, better project managers who can understand how to run the site properly?
Yeah.
Right. So run a project properly.
Yeah.
I think now is passion is a different form in the sense that you see things broader, right? It's not like, hey, you're not the safety person, you're not serious about safety, or you're the enemy of safety.
Yeah.
The reality is that most people do not want, nobody wants accident.
No, of course not.
So a lot of time is a lack of education, a lack of information, a lack of understanding of what's happening on the other end of the stake, right? The other person, what's happening. So I think that is a wiser type of passion, right? Rather than just looking for the enemy of safety. So I think the passion is there, but look at things in a broader sense. That instead of just pushing for better safety, we should be pushing for better management.
Yeah.
And that's even more fundamental.
I think you're 100% right. I think at the end of the day, it all comes back down to the culture. We've talked about it already, but I mean, it is just a culture. It's the management piece. Yeah. And time again, and what I've seen through my career and with others is the better the safety culture, right? The better the safety performance, the more it's not just lip service, it's real. You actually start seeing economical financial savings. You see productivity gains. You see more improvement. It's not just a cost. I think a lot of the times where you get the gap in the management perspective is you see it as a cost, an additional burden, something more I have to do. It's going to slow me down. It's going to cost me more money. It's going to put more restraints on what I need to do. And it's going to make me have problems delivering. But I think that if you only look at it as a cost and as a hurdle, then you're never going to get the actual value out of it. And you're never going to get the savings. I think some of those managers that I've talked to that have had that mindset. So what is it? They ran into more of a bureaucratic approach to just one size fits all safety, where nope, you have to do this, this, and this. And like, even if it didn't make sense, even if that's not the risk they had, even if that's not the right evaluation process, nope, this is what you got to go do. I think the sites, the people that really have the success, the managers that have the success, is they can have that conversation with their safety team. Okay, how do we do this right? How do we keep the people safe? Well, let's make sure it's a process our people can follow. Let's make sure it's not just overly bureaucratic that puts a lot of handcuffs on them, but it helps them make the job safer. Because it has to be easy to use. It has to be applicable. If it's not, it'll never happen.
Yeah.
Right? And if you get those combinations together, I think that's a powerful team where the manager, oh, now I see, you start to get the experience where safety's making me better. And as I get better, project's more efficient. I got less people that miss. I got less stoppage because people got hurt. I got less retraining because they have to leave the site for lost time. It just makes things more efficient. But so what is it? Everybody gets that experience because it depends. I guess, are you the command and control? Is it? It's very people dependent, and it's amazing how it's always people dependent, always culture dependent. As much processes are there. And back to you and I are the reasons it's success, right? You and I, the people, not AI or everything else. It still comes out of the people. But it's how do you get that great scenario where that manager can really thrive and see how it worked well. The safety person gets the right manager to support them. It feels like it's a very hard combination to get, but it's a magical when it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. You need more examples. I was always hoping to see more case studies. I think locally there are some, but the famous one is Paul O'Neill from Alcoa.
Okay.
It was in the book, one of the books on habits.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a very famous case study. A lot of people use it in training and education. So this CEO of Alcoa was really emphasizing on safety in his first shareholder meeting. He said he's going to focus on safety, and the shareholders run out of the room saying this guy is crazy. But he managed to show that even with that focus on safety, he improves the business so much. By the end of his tenure as CEO, company improved tremendously in terms of the profit, in terms of reputation, in terms of safety and health.
Yeah.
So we need more case studies like this to demonstrate that, hey, it's possible.
Well, I think you're right, because there's so many. I mean, think about it. So even the reputation. So, hey, companies want to work with you because you've got the right people. You're going to put people first, and it's going to be safe. You're not going to put their projects or their businesses at risk with stupid decisions, right?
Yeah.
Or unvetted risk. And you got the people that work for you go, oh, you really care. So what is it? I want to be somewhere where I'm going to be safe and protected. And you're willing to give a little bit more when that's the case.
Yeah.
And it has those secondary effects, not just the safety aspect of, oh, you listen to me. Oh, I'm sharing a risk. I'm sharing an idea. You're going to listen to me.
Yep.
And you're going to drive it and go, oh, you're going to get better and better talent because like, oh, this is a place to be.
Yeah.
You're going to retain the right talent. The people that don't care about it, guess what? They're going to leave because they're going to be tired of the pressure.
Yeah.
Right. So you get out the bad apples, new good apples come in. I'd like, you're right. I like that. That makes, it touches a lot of other stuff, and then the rest starts picking up because of it.
It's a keystone habit.
It is.
It is. In the book, they use the term keystone habit, that it stands that repose that we mentioned. And once you have safety right, you start to see that, hey, the way of working is improved, you get better ideas, you retain talent, I want just highlight.
Yeah.
And you see that business will grow.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So I know I'm coming down to probably the hour. We might be a little bit over. So a couple of last minute questions here for you. So what is this for you? What's next in the journey? I know you mentioned earlier you're kind of writing a book or helping write a book, and you've got the new semester starting. What's next? The next 5 years? Are you looking at what's that next kind of challenge? Or Matt, you scroll through LinkedIn, you've got so many different dean chairs, you've got kind of being on the award panel at LTA, and you get the Safety Council here in Singapore and others. What's next for you? What's your next challenge? What are you looking forward to next?
I think at the end, the challenge is to train the next generation of leaders who are serious about safety.
Okay.
And also groom good researchers who produce good work in terms of safety and health research.
Sure.
I think this is my key focus in the short run. I think life is short. I can't do too much. I try my best in different areas, but I think the focus is really how do I get my students to the good leaders in the future. I think they are the future. So I think that is really my focus.
Notice you didn't say AI is the future, so your students are the future. So I like that. Yeah. The culture of the people. So all right. So last question for you. What's something that your students, others, your friends, what's something that most people wouldn't know about you?
Wouldn't know about
me. They wouldn't know. They might be surprised to learn about it. I'm not looking for embarrassing moments. That's not the case. But what's either a capability, a trick, a skill, or just something about your past that most maybe?
I think one of the key things that kept me going. I have a very busy schedule. I work long hours, but one of the key things that I think is really, really useful for everyone, which is related to safety and health, is meditation.
Okay.
I meditate almost every day, and I think that helps me to stay happy.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think it's a skill that everyone should learn.
How long do you meditate every day then?
Depends. About between 20 minutes to 45 minutes.
Sure.
I think, depending on how much time I have.
Okay. Yeah. I might have to try. My fear is always get too bored sitting with my own thoughts. My wife likes to joke that if I don't have some music playing or something in the background or whatever, that like I could sit still, right? For it. So maybe that's she might be surprised if I ever show up and I'm telling
Well, you can keep the music going and meditate.
I guess I'm always like, hey, you gotta be lights off, dirt silence, right? It's kind of yeah, but okay. All right, nice. Good meditation. All right.
Yep.
I like it. Well, you know what I mean? Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I really, really appreciate it. It's great to kind of get to know you a little bit better, kind of what drove you in the past and kind of what you're working on today.
Yeah. Thanks. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Always.
Enjoy it.
Anytime. Yeah. You're welcome back anytime.
Well, not sure about that.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
Thank you for listening to Everyday Leaders with Nove. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. As always, if there's a topic or leader you'd love us to feature, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you next time as we continue exploring how everyday leadership drives safer, smarter outcomes where it matters most.